You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, gays and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter here. Hope you're having a good one. I've got a review for My Old Ass, which is written and directed by Megan Park, who you're going to know from Charlie Bartlett, The Fallout, and props to her. She was in I recognize her from What If, oh my gosh, why the hell am I blanking on his name? The Daniel Radcliffe, Zoe Kazan dramedy vehicle. Yeah, good for you, Megan. Because right out the gate, this is a great freaking movie. I was so fucking happy. I was like, yeah, I don't know why I said freaking when I say fucking, but but this is a great fucking movie. As you know, and if you listen to the podcast for a bit, I am a huge nerd. I love these coming of age movies, like stuff like Edge of 17, something like Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Stuff like Shake Shack or a Snack Shack, which is awesome if you haven't seen that. That came out this year, of course. But yeah, this is a very basic concept, but it's a fun concept. So Elliott, played by Maisy Stella, who you're gonna know from Nashville, the show. She is about to go off to school. She's going to school in Toronto, if memory serves. She's really kind of become isolated in that way that a lot of high school seniors do. Really think about her future, kind of isolating herself away from the family. She's growing up on a farm with her brother. I think she has I can't remember if she has one brother or two, but she's really kind of isolating to herself. The exception of that rule being that she does hang out with her two best friends, Ruthie and Rue, who are played by Maddie Ziegler and Carice Brooks, respectively. You know Maddie from West Side Story. Oh yeah, she was Velma on West Side Story. You know her from West Side Story, and then The Book of Henry. One of those is really good, one of those is really bad, and then Carice Brooks from The Prom. But I really like. So one of the things that I really liked about this, I really enjoyed the friend dynamic. We don't get a ton of it. I do wish we got a little more of it, but in the earlier parts of the film, we do get a decent amount of it, and they just have very easy, natural chemistry. It's kind of like how in those Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants movies, like, say what you will about those movies, but the chemistry between Ferrara and Seyfried and others, it is really natural, and you really do feel like they're friends. And all three actresses absolutely nail that aspect. You completely buy the fact that they're friends. So they go ahead and they end up going off on a camping trip together, where they go ahead and decide that they're going to take mushrooms. And so they go ahead and make tea with it, and they all decide to go ahead and go on a trip. So Elliot goes ahead and she starts tripping first, and she ends up seeing her 39-year-old self, played by Aubrey Plaza, who, of course, you know from Parks and Rec, so many things. Parks and Rec, Emily the Criminal, Ingrid Goes West, soon to be Megapolis, which I'm actually really curious to see how she's going to be in that. Huge fan of Aubrey Plaza. I've said sup girl about her a dozen times, but love her to death. She's absolutely one of the I haven't watched White Lotus yet. Sorry, I just had that realization. I haven't watched White Lotus yet, but I digress. The chemistry between Stella and Plaza is great here, because if that doesn't work, then this movie doesn't work. They give each other shit in the way that you would give your older self shit. you know, Elliot is very much the younger Elliot. She is very optimistic. You know, she's 17, 18. She's about to go off to college. She has a lot of optimism in her life. Plaza's older version, being 39 and kind of going through some shit, including some shit you do find out about as their conversations go ahead and continue. You go, oh, this is why you're so cynical. And at the end of the day, that is kind of the message of the film. It really is about, even when life beats you down, even when things go wrong, even when things aren't the best. And it's funny. I say that as someone who's unemployed right now, and I've had my days where things have felt really dark, and I still, I'm still going through it. It's hard some days. Some days I'm like, oh God, I'm never gonna get another job, and I just have to keep telling myself, like, no, like there is light at the end of this tunnel, and I would really put that message out there to anyone. I know things can feel bleak and things can feel dark, but things will get better. They will get better. And I really love how there are points where Elliot starts to push back against older Elliot in that way. One of the big things that Plaza's Elliot tells Stella's younger version is that you need to stay away from this guy Chad. Chad, who's played by Percy Hines White. That is a white ass name. But you know him from playing Andy Strucker on The Gifted, which The Gifted was a good show. I think that show had more potential than than people thought. I enjoyed that show, but I gotta say he has this like weird, like, leading man charm to him. He's a very naturally charismatic guy, and what's so funny about Plaza's version of Elliot is that she's doing everything but taking a drill and drilling into Stella's younger version. Do not talk to this guy. Stay the fuck away from him. If she could build a fence around the guy, she would have. But of course, as teenagers are bound to do, when you tell them not to do something, they do the exact opposite. And I will say, he just kind of wears her down, and just by being nice. He's just being a good dude, like, opening up a door for her, if she needs help lifting something up because she's struggling with it. Like, he's just being a very naturally just kind person, and she's doing everything she can to bust his balls and just make him feel like shit. And he's not taking the bait, and it's just like, all right, man, like, props to you. You do find out why older Elliot is so upset with Elliot on that front, and I actually like the reasoning and the resolution on that a lot. One thing that they also bring up is how Elliot, she even says that pretty much since she knew what sex was, that she thought she was gay. Like, she makes a point to say that, and I really like the way they address that, because I think it's Rue says it, or Ro, pardon me. I've been saying Rue, it's Ro, but I really like what Rose says, because she goes, okay, you thought you were gay, but use labels when you need to, but otherwise don't overthink shit. Like, you're attracted to him, like, there's nothing wrong with that. I really appreciate that conversation. I really appreciate that that's a thing that was actually addressed, because I could already hear people going, but she's gay. What is, like, I could already hear some, opinion piece being written about that. So I was very happy that they addressed that. One joke in this movie that actually made me spit up some of my water. There's a point where Elliot is talking to her brother, Max, I believe is her brother's name. But she's talking to him, and yeah, it's Max. She's talking to Max, and they're out golfing because he's a big golf nerd, and he's kind of like surprised, like, why are you talking to me? Like, why are we even out here? This is weird. It feels like you're hanging out with me because of pity. And she's trying to reassure him, like, no, like, I actually really want to hang out with you. But But then he brings up how, yeah, on last year's birthday card you wrote, "I would wish you happy birthday, but cis straight white men don't deserve any more happiness." And I was laughing so hard, I actually had to pause. I actually had to pause the movie. I was like, God damn, that's gold. But it's something that you could totally see Elliott saying, based as we get to know her more. And I appreciate that Elliott has this very self-aware moment where she goes like, "Am I an asshole?" And Older Elliott just goes, "No, you're not an asshole. You're an 18-year-old. Most people are assholes when you're 18." And man, ain't that the truth. Lord Almighty, I could not agree more of that, myself included. But this is a movie that just really does work. I really like what it has to say about time and how, you know, the older you get, the faster time flies. And I that's something else. I could not agree with that more. Time flies the older you get. There's a really great montage set to Nelly Furtado's "Say It Right." And I love the way that song is used. That's something I did not expect. I was like, this is a great song for this scene here. It's really funny when Elliot meets Plaza's Elliot. They're retorting, their back and forth is so fucking funny. She's like, you can't be me, you can't be older me, those aren't my teeth, there's a gap in my teeth. And she's like, and Older Elliot is like, "Fuck off, wear your retainer." Like, this is what happens when you don't. Like, it's so much fun watching their back and forth and seeing how they learn about each other and how they learn from each other. I've really enjoyed this. This was a joy to watch. This is something I'll end up buying, and I always love seeing actors or actresses stepping behind a director's chair and being able to nail a flick. And yeah, props to Megan Park. She knocks it out of the park. Wink. But I really had a lot of fun with this. This is a solid A- for me. I really enjoyed this. So yeah, my old ass, solid A-. Check this out. It's in theaters right now. I would highly recommend you go see it. Yeah, it's just at the 90-minute mark. So, but yeah, great flick. Yeah, it's a solid A- for my old ass. So yeah, my old ass, have y'all seen it? What'd you think? Let me know in the comments. You can go ahead and follow me on YouTube. Go ahead and hit the bell so you know when new videos and reviews are up, or when I'm going live on YouTube. You can find me on there, as I mentioned, at The Real Pineapple. That's REEL Pineapple. Go ahead and follow me on Blue Sky at realpineapple.bsky.social. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and the Twitter at jhunterrealpineapple. That's jhunter, and then REEL, and then pineapple. And you can follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam. And don't forget to follow me on Twitch. I stream on there quite often. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheRealPineapple. And you can go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. It definitely helps me out. You can find the podcast pretty much wherever you listen to them: SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts at The Real Pineapple. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We will have reviews coming up in October for the Real Scary series. I'll have plenty of Halloween reviews. By the time this review is up, I will reveal the list, so you can check out the list on my socials, or you can go ahead and check out the stream that I went ahead and did where I revealed those, as I will be talking about my MCU wish list. I went ahead and my Batman Day stream, so you can check that out for my reveal of the whole list for the Real Scary series. But I'll have those reviews up, and then my review for Transformers 1 should be up on the channel by the time y'all hear this as well. But yeah, y'all, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, take care of each other, give someone a hug, give someone a compliment, and never forget, as always, to keep it real.